Hello guys, my name is Vineet Arora and you are watching Azure Devops series. So in this session, we are going to cover YAML, yet another markup language. In my previous videos, I have covered how to create the build pipeline with respect to the classic editor. And there we have used the code as a reference as a basically I have this code that I have already marked it as public and you can download it from the GitHub. The description I will provide in the link itself. And in my previous video I have used the reference of this repository itself, right? So this is a track. So in my previous videos I have covered I have included the CIE pipeline with respect to this repository, and there as I updated I have used the Python code, and with respect to Python I have used the Docker. So in our CI pipeline what we are doing, uh, we are creating the build from Docker, and now we are going to learn it how we can do it with YAML. So let's start. Before starting, let me just request you that if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and please like this video. Thank you. So let's start. Okay, so as updated, this is the free code, right? You can easily download it and you can use it in your own GitHub repo. And here we have the Docker file, and this Docker file is creating the image. This is simple code. Now with respect to it, classic pipeline, we have the 4 tasks. First task is basically build an image, another is push an image, then we have the deploy part, right? And here we have used the 2 part. Basically one is with respect to dev and one is with respect to QA, that we have already seen in our previous video, that how we can deploy it as per our environment, right? Because the code is available at one place, but now we want to deploy it at 2 places depending upon the feature branch. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to create YAML file. So let me click on the pipelines. Here if you will click on the new pipeline, we have the 2 options to create the pipeline. Either from the YAML, you can see all these options are coming from the YAML, and all these options, and then we have the option of the classic editor in the lower part. So the standard way to do it with respect to it, YAML file itself, right? There are multiple advantages of using the YAML. With respect to YAML, basically what it is going to do, it is going to create a YAML code, yet another markup language code, which will be added in a file, and that file will be the part of your repository, right? So here we have the repository. Let me click on code, and here we have the repository. So what we will have the one more file that will be the YAML file, and the reference of that YAML file will be used here. Okay, so we can have multiple YAML file and we can use the file, any file there. So let's start. Let me click on the basically first of all it is asking where is your code. So our code is on GitHub. I am clicking here. Once I will click here, basically it need to create a link between the Azure Devops and GitHub. So it will ask me for the username and password. So I need to log in here. Okay, now I have logged in. So here it is automatically showing us how many repository we have in this particular GitHub account. I have the 2 repository, and the repository that I am going to use is this Docker Hello World Flask, right? This is a Hello World application which is in Docker, and I am using the Flask as a server. So I will select it. So now what it will do, it will automatically scan our code and will know, okay, that how what is exactly I can propose you. So it has already scanned our code, and it has find a Docker file here in our root. So it is proposing us that, boss, what you can do, you can create a Python package or Docker file. Basically you can use the Docker task or Python task, because we already have a Docker file. It is proposing us to create a Docker, right? And we have the Python package. What we can do, we can use the Python itself. And the other is the option is the starter pipeline. So in these options it will give us the sample task. Already it will populate it in our file, but in case of starter pipeline it will not add the task with respect to Docker or Python. Getting it? So what I need to do, I need to choose it either this or this. So let me go through with this Docker first, and then we will go ahead with the starter as well. So let me click on this, build a Docker image, and it is asking us where is the Docker file. It has automatically populated that this is available in your root directory. So let me click on validate and configure. So now you can see that it is proposing that we have it will create a file named as Azure pipeline that I updated you earlier, and that file, the content of that file will be this, right? And when we will actually go to save it, it will ask us that where exactly, in which branch you want to save it. Okay, but before that, let us understand that what exactly this code that it has created for us. For a reference, because initially I went through with this classical pipeline. Let me go to the classical itself that I have already created. So this one we are using. Let me edit this. So here we have the multiple tasks as I updated initially. So first was to select the code that we already choose. Now the part is build an image, right? Now as I updated initially that we have the multiple ways to do it. So I am going to define you here. So if you already know that what will be the first task, right? Because you are a DevOps person and you are going to build a pipeline. So first task will be build an image. So first option is, as it is already proposing, that the task will be Docker 2. Docker 2 means the version is coming at the rate is 2. 2 means version. Okay. So as similar to here, what it is doing, it is first part is a trigger part. Trigger part means when this particular pipeline will be executed. So, means for which particular branch. So this particular pipeline will be executed for main branch. So whenever we will have the changes in main branch. If we want to get it done for any branch, what we can do? We can use asterisk. We can remove it and will in double code we will use asterisk. Number 1 point. Okay. Another point, if we want to get it done with respect to the multiple branches. So let me press enter. Let me add hyphen and then let me add one more branch name here. So in a way we can do it, right? However, if we want to override this, for example, if we want, okay, this is the branch trigger point we have added in our YAML file, but if we want that this particular trigger point should be override, so we have that option as well. And where? So let me tell you, in the pipeline section, because as of now this is in classical way, but in the pipeline when this will be the YAML way, we will have the option here, the trigger. We'll click on the trigger and there we will have the option to choose the, so this section will override the content of trigger content of basically this particular file. Okay. Okay. Let's move to next. Next is the resources. So it is asking that what I need to do. I need to create the repository. I need to check out the repository itself. Then the variable section. This is the important section. Basically, we need to know what exactly is the variable. So in our pipeline, if we are looking to have some code or some value that we want to do it again and again, that we want to use it again and again, we use the variable. So here, what it is proposing, it is proposing us that let's have a variable named as tag, and there it is using the build ID, right? We have already seen that what is build ID. So this particular tag will be used at multiple places in our task, right? So let me just search Control F $ bracket start tag. So they are using it here. Okay. In our pipeline, what we have done, let me show you. We were building an image and here we need to give the tag. This is about that part. Basically, you can say here. So this is the value. We are, if you will see that we are replicating this value again and again. We are basically doing the same thing, right? But here, what we are doing, we are just defining it one place. In our section in classical pipeline, we could also do this in a way like what we need to do, we need to go to the variables, we need to click on one value as a add, we need to add as a tag, right? And we need to add this value as a $build.build ID. Okay. So this is the way to do it in YAML, and this is the way to do it in Classic. And here if we will in task, what we need to do, we need to just use the variable. What we need to do, let me cut it. Okay, dollar bracket start tag and here let me paste it. Excuse me, trigger point, sorry, variable point. So here like this. Okay, so in a similar way, what I am going to do, I am going to use the tag here as the complete one that I am going to use. Okay, the name can be anything. This can be tag or this is user defined. It is up to us what we are going to give the name, right? Let me give the name as image name. Why I am giving the image name? Because actually I am not using it as a tag. Tag is this value which is coming after colon, right? So this is a complete image name which is with tag. We have already seen that what it is. It will basically go with the image name, image hyphen repository name, then colon branch name, and then build ID. Okay, as a next step, let's move to next step. We have the stages, but if you will see, we are not having any stages in our classical way. So here we have the stage. The first stage is the build. We are going to, because in our YAML, what we can do, we can have the stage as a deployment as well, right? We can have the multiple stages. We can have the stage of build. We can have the stage of deployment. But here in our way, what we are going to do as a first step, I'm going to show you how we will go ahead with the build and deploy as a one. So let me click on the build and deploy, because this is the Docker way to do it, right? So as the build will be, as the particular image will be pushed, right? So then we will fetch it and then we will use it. So here let me add the display name as build image and deploy, right? Okay, now we have the jobs. So first job is a build. Let me add it as a build. What I am going to do, I am going to make it very simple. I don't want to get you confused, right? So I am going to, in a very simple way, the simple task I am going to add it, and I am going to replicate in the same way that I have done it in the classical way. Okay, so the display name is build. So let me just add it, build and deploy as well. We can give it any name, no issue about that. Now the pool is basically which particular image it is going to fetch, on which our code, this YAML code will run. In classical way, we have this option here in the pipeline itself. When basically pipeline is start, we have the options like what exactly the agent, right? So here we can choose, we have the number of OS we can choose. So here we have used the Ubuntu latest, and in a similar way we are using as a Ubuntu latest. Now let's come to the another important part, the most important part, we can say the task. So now what we need to do, we need to create the multiple task. Sorry, we need to create the task as per our requirement. What exactly is a requirement? So our requirement is to first of all to build an image, then push an image and deploy in dev environment as well as production, or we can say it in a QA. So we have the 4 tasks. So first task is build an image. So now what we have done here, we are building it. So in a similar way, Azure Devops, this has proposed us. So what you can do, you can build an image. Now what I can do, I can either I can do the changes in this particular task, or I can create a new task, or I can copy paste it from somewhere. This is a very important thing that you need to understand. Let me rewind this. What you can do, you can either change here itself, or you can copy paste from somewhere in the sense from here, or you can create a new task. So how exactly I am going to do this? First of all, if I want to change anything, so if you will see what I have done here, I have used the version as a 0, right? We have the 0, 1, 2, we have the 3 version, and this is the, you can see the part which is coming after @ is a version. So we have used the version 0. So let me choose the same, right? Now display name, this display name is this name which will come as a build an image. So the same thing is coming here, no change required. Input, what is the input? It is saying that input is a build and then Docker file is this and then tag is this. But the important thing is that you need to understand, basically this is the editor, this is the YAML editor that is governed by Azure Devops, Microsoft, and this is a very helpful tool. So here, this all about YAML file is all about indentation, right? So here, if you will see from the starting, like everything is from the indentation. There is no curly braces, there is no tags as into XML file. It is simple plain language which works on basis of indentation or tabs. So first was the trigger, next was the resource, next was the variable. Now as we will add tags, tags means this is our tab, not tags, tabs. As we will add tabs or the indentation, that means that particular property is coming under that particular main thing, main tag. For example, here we have the stages. Under this is we have the orientation. Basically, this stage, first stage is stage, and then after you can see this stage, the display name is the part of stage itself. Then jobs is the part of this this particular stage, jobs, right? We have the as a part. What we need to do, we need to add a hyphen and then write it. And then these are the three properties: job, display name, and pool. These are the part of jobs. Now further we have these tabs under the jobs, and there again we have used the task here, and then we have used the orientation. Then if you can see, these are the part of your, for example, command, docker, tag, these are the part of input. Now the important thing is what I was going to tell you, it is about these things. This is coming as, right, orange line, right, which is not correct. Basically it is showing us that this is the warning. What is the warning? Let me show you here. It is saying that unexpected property command. Actually it is stating that this is not the property of your docker task, docker of version 0. Let me do it too. Now it is okay. So basically this is displaying it as a part of our version itself. So it has the IntelliSense. It can know, okay, which version you are using and how exactly this is working. Let me click on the 0. Let me remove this input part because this command is not the property of here, right? Docker file is this. That's why it is showing us. Let me remove the tags as well. Okay. So now I was stating there is a multiple way to do this. So one of the way is either click on the settings part. This is we will have the settings option under each task. So if I will click here, I will have the options here to choose, right? First option is coming as a, where is the registry? I am stating that this is in Azure Content Registry, right? It is coming as by default. Azure subscription. What is Azure subscription? So this is the basically service principles. So when we need to use one of the service principle, because this is the one of the topic that I have already covered in one of my video where how to create this service connection and what exactly it is. So please go through it. I will also provide the link on the top as well as on the description section. Another option is to add it from the scratch. So let me remove this task. This will give you more understanding about the YAML, right? Removed. Let me press one more back. Okay, now my cursor is here. Now what I need to do, I need to press one enter. It is automatically suggesting us that what are the various property we can use here. Now let me press hyphen as the next property and press space. And what I need to do, I need to use the tasks. So I will press T. Then this will automatically come here as a auto suggestion. I will select a task. Then I will press curly brace and then enter. I will press a colon, then we'll press enter, right? So under the task, what we need to do, we need to have the further more properties, or what I can do if I know, as I will click on the colon, I need to add the name of the task. So what is the name of the task? If I already know the name of the task, but I can know, okay, I will select Docker, then @2, right? In a similar way, I can do it. If I know it, I have pressed space. This is the another thing, we need to have the space here, I for colon. So once I have pressed this space, it is coming us as a settings. Now this is okay. And if I'll click on settings, it is proposing to add the properties what you can do. Okay. Let me do it from the task itself, from the editor itself. Now let me press enter and let me press one tab, space. And now the next property which need to choose as a display name. So this is the basically the important thing is this should be an indentation of this particular task, and because these are the property of this task. And here we need to choose the display name. We need to add the display name. So let me add the display name as a, what is the display name? The display name is build an image. Okay, enter. Next value what we can have the inputs, right? We can have all other these things. So let me just demonstrate you from our pipeline section in our classical way, build an image. So here we have all these options, right? So in a similar way we will have these options. Okay, so these options will come as input. These are all our input, right? Display name is one thing, and then all of these things are is input. All these things will come in input. Okay, so now what I need to do, I can add more property if I know. Okay, as an input, let me click here. It is automatically now. I will control escape. It will add me. It will show me that what are the various properties. I can add the Docker file if I know. I can choose the value what exactly the Docker file. I can choose the right Docker file right here if I know. Okay, but here the thing is you should know exactly. You should be well aware. Okay, what are the various input that I need to use? But that is not the case. You will not be remember at every time. So that's why Azure Devops has provided as a setting section. So what we can do, we can add the values here and we can move ahead, right? We will click on add and we will have the values. Okay, so this is another option. And now the another option is this was one of the option. Let me tell you the other option. Now I am the steps. Let me click here on the back, right? So now we have the option here as a task. We can select it from the list. How it is coming? It is coming automatically from here. I have the hide assistant and show assistant tab here. I will click on the hide show assistant. Now I can choose the task as a Docker. What I need to choose? I need to choose a Docker, and I need to have the values from here, and I can work accordingly. Right? Okay. This is another way. This is the second way. The third way is what I can do if I already have this classical pipeline and I just want to replicate it there. What I will do, I will click on the view YAML and I will have all these options from here. Right? What I can do, I can simply select it. I can copy it and I can use it. This is showing us error because this is not in correct indentation of task. So let me select it and press tab. One more tab. Now this is not coming. Okay. This is an important thing. We just need to be aware with respect to it. Okay. So now if I will click on settings and this will come here as a auto selection, right? And if I click on add, so this will update the value here. Okay, so now let me click on settings again. Okay, now let us come on the properties. So the first of the property is Azure Container Registry. Next, the Azure subscription that we need to choose. Here we have the options to choose either manual or automatic. These two both service connection I have created. And if you want to know that how exactly I have created, please go through my previous videos. I will provide the link on the top as well as in the description. Right. So we have the manual, we have the automatic. I have chosen manual here. Now let's come to the container registry. So here container registry, it will automatically populate and the value will come. We need to select it as a even SCR. Now the one important thing is if you are in the Azure Container Registry, you will see this is not coming as a AVN SCR, right? This is, you can say this is just one of the, it is nomenclature name of this particular. So here we don't need to use AVN SCR, the name of the container registry. We need to choose it and automatically it will add the values. If you are not working on the on your property section from here, you need to add this in this particular way, like what is the login server, what is the ID. So we have the two options, login server and ID for the Azure Container Registry. Next thing is action. What is that action? Action is build an image. What next thing is file. Okay, the file is Docker file, and then image name. Image name is coming as a tag because I have just copy pasted from there. So what I need to do, I need to use this image name, copy and paste here. Okay, now let's come to the next part or next task. What I need to do now, this one task is ready. right? The important thing is we need to concentrate on the properties on the input here itself. Okay, if I will press enter, it will auto select it. The auto selection will be on behalf of the input, what exactly for the properties. I don't want this. Let me click on back. Now I am in align with input. So as a similar, what we have the options, I will press Control C, Control Escape, and I will have the further options like I can have the condition, continue, error, and all those stuff. Okay, I don't want this. Let me press one more back. Now, if I will click here, so now again this is the this part is coming as a task here. So now I can add more task here. Either, as I stated earlier, I can go to the task property from here, right? I can choose from here, or I can copy paste from here, from this particular push an image if I already have a YAML, or I can simply copy paste from here. Control C, Control V. Need to take care of indentation, right? This is done now. Okay, the again version is 0, display name is push an image. Okay, I have copy paste of this here. I can change the name here. Now input is contain registry type, subscription, action. Now what is the action? I need to choose the action as a push an image, but because I have copied paste of the above one, that's why all these things coming here. So either I can change the value from here like this, or I can click on settings, or I can select the values from here. The important thing is here, if I will choose, for example, I am not going through it with this particular section. I am just choosing any value. For example, let me do some mistake. Now it is showing us as a warning because it is showing that this is not in one of the list for the action. This should be in one of the list, right? Although this is a string, but this should be coming from as a list. So I will need to click on, I choose a push, or need to go through the settings. Next thing is Docker file. Docker file is this and image name is this. Okay, we should aware of this thing, what exactly we have the properties here. So best thing is this, click on the settings. Now you will have all the options, choose from here and click on add, right? Or this one of the option. Another option is from the copy paste, as I was saying earlier, click on the view YAML here. Now you can validate. We have the Azure subscription, container registry, action and image name. We have the 4 property: subscription, container registry, action, image name. Subscription, container registry, action and image name. Because this is the part of your push an image, and here basically you are not getting the Docker file, because here as this is the task of push an image, we don't need to work upon the kit build, we just need to push an image. So we need to choose where is exactly our registry, where this is on Azure, we need to push it, we need to what is the image name. So here there is no use of this particular Docker file. Let me click on settings here itself. It is not showing us this option, right? We can remove this. So that's why I was stating the good thing is click on the settings, and now we have all these input, and we can click on the add, and we will have the related properties here. Okay. With respect to version, if I will add it as a 2, then as stated earlier, this coming in orange basically, and if I click here, then now this is the error basically. So that's why this is not choosing us, it is not giving us the options to do all of these stuffs, because it is a different property, right? With respect to version 2, let's go ahead with version 0 itself, and now we are done. Okay, the another task is with respect to the deploy part. As a sake of time, let me just copy paste it the good way, or I have already given you that what exactly we can do. We can either create the task from here. We can choose, if you know, you will simply click on the here, you will simply go to the Docker, write Docker, and related task will come here, right? Deploy, we know what is the task we are in need to use. We are in need to have the Azure Web App for containers. So what I need to do, I need to search here Azure Web App for containers, right? I can choose it. and I can choose the values from here, like what is the subscription value. Right, subscription is this. Docker app name is avin docker dev. So if I will click here, it will it need to show us the app name. Okay, this is automatically populating from our Azure, which is linked with subscription. I have chosen the app name. Now the image name. What is the image name? In a similar way, I need to choose this or as a dollar image name. So what I need to do, dollar bracket start bracket end image name, right? And the next thing is any other further property we need to add? No, we have not added further things. Okay, what I will do, I will simply, okay, we have one more thing that I am missing here as a control option, right? So control option, it is one of the also the property. It is stating that if the branch name is dev, then this will deploy to this particular app name. So this particular task will be executed if I have the option, I have the condition here, this, right? So I can, so the thing is, we will not have the option here. Let me choose, we have this or not, right? We are not getting any option. This is one of the important things we need to understand. If we are going it through with variable section, through property section, we are not having this option. This need to come under, not as an input, because this is not the input. This is coming as a part of this task itself, right? That we need to choose manually. Let me show you how. See, condition name not coming here. Click on back. Now it is coming as a condition. I can press enter, and then what I can do, I can copy, and then in the bracket I can add this value. Okay, I need to do this. This is the editor which will show us that what exactly the mistake you are doing it, right? This should not be in red or in the warning stage. So this is one of the condition. So but this condition was not applied here. This was with respect to the Azure Web App for Container. So let me remove this. Let me add this. Now it is added for us. Let me press one tab. Now red is no more. Now I can have the condition, brack, condition type here, and then well paste it. So this is the way, right? So one way, again I'm just rewinding it again. The another way is go here, click on the view YAML, simply Control C and go here, and let me remove this, paste, select it, tab, one more tab. Now this is okay. Now we have the subscription, app name, container, condition. Now we can update it. Either click on the settings, right? If I will click on the settings part, it will automatically select it, that what exactly it will allow us to choose the properties, right? And then we will go ahead. But as I updated earlier, we are not choosing the, we are not giving the values as a hard coded. So okay, the another thing is, now we has an input. The input is coming here as a avinacr.io/image name. So this is the complete image name. In our containers, when we are doing the deployment, we need to give the complete path. So here, this is the value that we have used starting from here. Image, build repository name, build source branch name, and build ID. So, right, this one. Now we need to concatenate. How exactly concatenate? We need to have this value. We will remove this all from starting from here to end. We will add dollar, bracket start, bracket end, and this way. Okay, let me in this way again, right? So container name is avinacr, Azure is avinacr Azure cr.io/image name. Let me show you from here. This is the complete same value coming here, right? Image build repository name, same value. So that we are using as a variable. Okay, okay. So this is done. Let me either same thing, copy paste from here. For the sake of time, let me just click here and then view YAML. Let me control C. Let me just do it fast. Paste, right? Select it that we should not have error. This warning is coming as an error. Now we have no more error. This is done. Let me just update the container name. Okay, and paste. Now the app name is QA, and this is now done. Now what I need to do, this is now completed as per our requirement. Our requirement is to do the deployment along with basically to do the deployment with build part as well. Okay, so it's time to save this file. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click on save. Once I will click on save, it will ask us for the commit message, as well as it will ask what exactly you want to, where exactly you want to commit this. So what I will do, I can either choose a main branch or I can go ahead with the feature branch. Let me go ahead with the feature branch, right? Why not? We are using, let's use the options that we have provided. Okay, so I am click on the start as a pull request. Okay, I'm not clicking on the start at a pull request. I can create the pull request from the from there as well, from GitHub as well. Okay, now the beach it is asking us for the branch name. Let me add the branch name as a feature branch, right? And let me click on save. Okay, what it will do, it will basically create a new branch for us in our GitHub repository. Here we have the two branch, main and dev. Now we will have the one more branch which will be as a feature branch, and there we will have the file. Okay, so let me click on the, you will see some error here. Don't worry about this, because this error is with respect to our trigger point, because what we have done, we have chosen as a trigger change file. We have chosen that our file is in feature branch, but that it is starting to, it is trying to fetch from the feature branch. So that's why this error is coming. So don't worry about this. Let's go to the GitHub. Let me refresh. So now it is stating that one more branch we have. Let me go here, and now we have the YAML file here itself, right? This commit message is coming. Okay, either we can merge this to the main branch now, or we can, as a part of testing, because you are a developer, you are a DevOps person, and now you are doing the development of your YAML file. So what you can do, you can test it with respect to feature branch itself. Why to merge? Because in our general practice, we need to raise a PR, and that will be approved by your team lead and for the architect, and then that will be added. So let's not do that. Let's click on the pipelines, and here if you click on the all, here we will have the one more pipeline that is coming as a this one which we have created just. Okay, let me just select it, and it is showing us the error. Basically, it is not allowing us. Let me click on the run pipeline. So here, as stated earlier, it is basically the problem is it is not finding the YAML file, and it is trying to find the main. That is not good. This is in our feature branch. If I will click on the feature, and now there is no more error. If I will click on run, right, and then if I will click on run, then this will execute it. What exactly it will do? It will further basically do the deployment. Before deployment, it will do the build part. In build part, it will create the image. Okay, so here you can see that build and deploy. This is the name, display name, which is coming here. Let me show you from the YAML file itself. Now I am on the GitHub, and here if you will see here, the display name is coming as a build image and deploy, right? Build image and deploy. No, this is with respect to the task build an image, right? So this is the task. If I click here, this is the stage which is coming as a build image and deploy, and here we have the task. Here what we need to do, we need to give the permission. I will click here view and then permit. Basically it is asking us to use the service connection. I will permit it. Let boss, yes, you can go ahead. Now it will execute all the tasks for us. Okay, so this pipeline has been executed, and as you can see from the screen that all the tasks have been executed other than these two, right? So why these two tasks has not been executed? Because there was a condition, that condition didn't matched. The condition was that this particular task should be executed when the particular branch is either main, right, dev or main. This was the dev task because this was deploying the image, right, and this was deploying because here we had the main branch. So that's the reason it did not execute it. Okay, if we want to execute, we simply need to update the condition. So in this way, we saw that how we can have the YAML file, how we can have the YAML code for Azure DevOps pipeline, right? And we can have the stages there, and we can have the jobs and tasks. Okay, so now we have one more way to do the YAML. What is that way? That way is coming into the picture when we already have a classic pipeline, right? And when we already have a classic pipeline, what we can do, we can export that pipeline. How? Let me show you. As you can see from here, I have this particular pipeline which we have already executed, and let me edit this. As you can see from here, this is the classic pipeline. So what I can have the export option, where we can have, let me just check it. Okay, here we will click on the triple dot, right, and we have the option either to export to YAML or export to JSON. If you will click on the export to YAML, it will download a YAML file, and then if you will open this, we will have this content, right? So this is already ready content, ready code that we can have. What we need to do, we simply need to copy this content, right? Control A, Control C. We simply need to go to our code, right? This is my repository. Let me go to the feature branch here, and we can have the new branch as well. So what I can do, I can have the new file here, create new file, and the file name can be something like Azure DevOps. I already have a one YAML file, so I am giving it Azure DevOps 2, and what I need to do, I simply paste the content here, right? So now this is ready to use code. If we already have a classic pipeline and if we want to use that, we will simply click on the export, and we will have the YAML content, and then we will use that, right? And in this way we can have the YAML. So here we saw that how we can have the different ways of code, different ways of YAML, right? So let's end our session here, and we will meet once again with our new session to learn something new in Azure DevOps. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.